You are listening to the Connect With Us podcast from Connect English Community. The Connect With Us podcast is a fun conversation about all kinds of things that take place in and around our English learning community. We'll talk about different sides of the languages and cultures in which we live and learn every day. And we invite you to join us on this journey so that by connecting with us, we can encourage you along the way.
Connect with us, and we'll connect you to the world.
Welcome to another episode of the Connect With Us podcast. We're so happy to see you again. I'm here with my two happy guests. All right. As you can see, they are booless. There are two of them. We're so glad to have them. They're visiting us here, and I will have them introduce themselves. Go ahead.
My name is Mandy. I am a fourth semester at a university in South Carolina, United States.
All right.
And my name is Jacob, and I'm in my 8th semester. I'm an intercultural studies major about to graduate.
Ooh, interesting. One's just started, I guess, not long ago, and you're about to graduate. Interesting. All right. So today we're going to talk about a topic. Just like usual, here at Connect, we talk about a topic that in and around life of our members. Mm-hmm. And now you're part of us since you're visiting us, so we're going to talk about a big part of their life, okay? So we're going to talk about college life, all right? So earlier you said you're 4th semester, mm-hmm. Mandy, and then you're 8th semester. How have you been enjoying college life?
I love college. I love being around lots of people all the time. And so this is really fun for me, just being able specifically to hang out with friends whenever I want, to go grab dinner with them, to wake up next to your best friend because you're living in the same area. It's just really quick and easy to get to know people. So that's one of my favorite things about it.
All right. What about you, Jake?
Yeah, we go to a really small university. There's only about 2,000 students there, so it's really great to be able to have an awesome community around us. Like I know for me, I had like a lot of friends in high school, but once I left high school, like I don't really have any of those friends anymore. But I feel like the friends that I've made here at college, like since it's such a great community, like I'm gonna have them for the rest of my life.
Wow, deep. Sorry about deep answer, yeah? Okay, so what you haven't known yet is that this is our second part of the series called That's Different. I hope you have watched the first one when I invited my other friend from America, and we talked about specifically about food and how different it is. And if you haven't seen it, that's okay. But this series specifically talk about different cultures and different situations that happen between countries. Right now, our guests are from the United States, so we kind of see the difference and actually similarities too between those two countries. But my friend that was prepared before she moved to Indonesia, she was reminded that instead of making response or reaction that might cause something negative later, saying like, or oh, why would you eat that? So she was reminded to always say and remember that that's different and it's okay. All right, so that's this series about. And specifically today we're going to talk about college life, as I told you earlier. All right, but specifically again about what? I'm really curious about like college life in the United States, about the living arrangements. So I will tell you what happened in Indonesia, but I've heard that dorms is a big deal in the colleges and universities in America. So how is that? Like, tell us about dorms in the U.S.
Well, it kind of ranges based off what university you go to, whether it's public, which means it's funded by the state, or private, not funded by the state. Our university is a private university, and so it is a requirement to live on campus unless you live within 30 miles.
30 miles, that's 60 kilometers?
Something like that.
Our viewers a lot from Asia.
Yeah.
So okay, go ahead.
I don't know if that's the exact amount, but it's basically like if you don't live in the area, you are supposed to live on campus. So most of us do live on campus, do life together. And the way it's set up is we have suites for the most part. So it's 2 people for each room, and then you have 1 bathroom for every 4 people.
Okay.
So it's like me and my roommate, we share a bathroom with our suite mates who are 2 people, basically. So
what did you call
suites? So we call them like suite mates. So
Oh.
it's like SUITE.
Oh, sweet.
Sweet. Yes.
I was thinking about candy. I
Yes.
was like, that is sweet.
Yeah, unless you have
Alright.
a really nice suite mates, then it is SWEET.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about your experience, Jake?
Yeah, at some other colleges in the States, they have what's called like hall bathrooms. So everybody has their own room, but then they share a bathroom with everybody that's on the hall. So it could be up to like 20 people sharing one bathroom. So thankfully, we don't have that at our university. But I much prefer having just 4 guys sharing one bathroom. It's a good setup. Yeah.
So both of you live in a dorm. Okay.
Yes.
Up until now.
Yep.
Oh, all right. So do you like it?
I love it.
Okay.
The way my dorm is set up is there's 6 rooms all around, but they're on the outskirts, and then there's like a common area in the center, and so we can all like leave our door open and just go hang out in the common room, watch TV, sit on the couch, do homework. It's just a lot of fun, real life with one another. Yeah.
Reminds me a bit of Hogwarts. I'm just kidding.
Basically.
Common room.
Yes.
All right. So here in Indonesia, most universities don't really have dorms. Yeah. So most people who live in the city, they just live with their parents until they graduate. So, but people from out of town, they usually find their own apartments, or studio apartment. That's more common here. But actually, to my understanding, there are several colleges that also do their own dorm. Like often it's like the nursing colleges. So they usually, at least the first and the second year, if I'm not mistaken, they have to stay at dorms, and they usually separate like female and male dorms, and they I don't know exactly how they dorm set, but yeah, usually the nursing different major, different specific, but dorms in universities, that's just not a thing like from university. My university, what I used to go, actually they provided housing, but it's not required for you to stay. All right, very interesting. And I used to live in a studio apartment, something like that, but I've never lived in a dorm.
Yeah.
That sounds very interesting. All right. Well, right now, I would like to ask about, this is also something that is very different, with Indonesia. It's about clubs. Like when you have interest, they usually provide like clubs and maybe organizations here in Indonesia. But in America, you also have sorority and fraternity.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know how familiar our audience about it, but tell us, what is sorority and fraternity?
So we don't actually have sororities and fraternities at our school.
Oh, okay.
Because we are a private school. Like most of the public universities have those fraternities and sororities, but the word fraternity just means like brotherhood. So it's just a kind of a group where they can get together, and I think a lot of them have to do like service projects and stuff. But it's just like bringing a group of guys together, almost as like a family on the campus.
Okay. Yeah. So only like private universities usually have that?
It's normally public universities.
Oh, sorry, public university.
Public,
all right. So, what are some of the universities in the U.S. that you know that have fraternity and sorority?
The 2 biggest universities in our state, South Carolina, are the University of South Carolina and Clemson University, and those are probably the most like well known for their sororities and fraternities.
All right. What are usually their like activities? I know it's more like a kind of family, like you said earlier, brotherhood or sisterhood, I guess, for sorority. But do you kind of have the idea, like what do usually they do together?
So I am on rec staff, which is recreational staff, but we don't say the full word. And that is mostly just like doing a lot of the planning that goes along behind student events, and then like making sure they go on well. So basically, a lot of times we can go to hockey games. Sometimes we have a big inflatable like movie screen that we will all go sit on the stud lawn and watch movies. We have game rooms and ping pong and pool that people like to hang out with. What else?
Bowling nights.
Yeah.
Bowling nights.
The dance.
Yes, we have a couple of dances throughout the year. We have one coming up at the end of March. It's just a big president's ball, so people get super, super dressed up, spend a lot of money on it, and then just go all out and have fun. Yeah. So that's most of it.
Yeah, it's different. So besides that, you do have like clubs and other. Do you have like some sort of organizations at campus for students?
Yeah.
So what clubs or
most majors have different like clubs that are participated. So there's like Spanish clubs, like language clubs. There are like biology clubs. Basically, at most universities in America, it's if you are passionate about it, you can make a club. And like, so there are clubs. There's a club on campus called the Procrastination Club.
Wait, what?
It's like,
we should start that. I'm good at it. I'm sorry. Don't try that at home.
I've never actually been to it because I'm like, I'll just go late, and then I don't go.
That's the point.
Yes, exactly. There's a thing called slackline in America, so you put up this really tight rope in between trees and stuff, and like poles, and then you walk on it. So it's like a tight rope, and so there's a slack club. So they go walking on that. A lot of people play volleyball. There's Jake is on intramurals.
Yes.
So you can talk about
Tell us about that, Jake.
Yeah, so we have sports teams that like are represented by our school that play against other teams, but then we also have intramural sports. So it's kind of like you just get together with your friends and make a team and play against other like groups of friends in school. So I get to play ultimate frisbee and kickball and soccer and softball. So we're always busy playing sports. So that's one of my favorite things to do.
You like sports, don't you? All right. Well, that's different. Well, also similar to, again, in Indonesia, to my understanding, I could be wrong, but I don't think we have at least the concept of fraternity and sorority. But we do have clubs, language clubs, and I don't know if we have what we call the procrastination club. I've heard some interesting, like more interesting hobbies these days. They started to develop and they make club out of it. But in my experience, it is more challenging to actually have a official club at campus here, in Indonesia. We have a lot of procedure and requirements you have to fulfill, and then you have to file something on the office to make sure to you have your club campus. But what's even bigger here is actually student organization. So like in college or university, we have like a government, like student government. They have like president of the university, students, president, and then each what you call college, we call like faculty here. So each faculty has their own governor, that kind of like that. So it's kind of a bureaucracy that. Yeah, it's a big thing. Yeah, they have their own election every other year, if I'm not mistaken, and they have like a campaign. They have the candidate have campaign. Do you have that kind of sort of things in colleges or universities?
Yeah, ours is pretty much. It's really, really similar. So we have a student body president and then a vice president, and then we also have vice presidents and presidents for each class. For the senior class and the junior class, sophomore class, freshman class, there's a specific government for each class as well.
Wow. Yeah. So it's the same, It's quite the same. Have you actually applied for? Or have you actually become one?
Yeah. In high school, I was all about it. Like, really wanted to be a part of the student body and in leadership in that way. And then when I got to college, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I was really burnt out. So I am not a part of it for those reasons.
All right. Have you you thought about it, Jake?
So I was the same exact way in high school. I was always the vice president of my class because no one else ever ran against me. So I was just the only person to ever run.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then in college, I definitely found other like clubs and organizations that I got involved in.
Okay.
Yeah.
You will try something different, yeah? Okay, so another thing that I would like to, what you shared about what was the sport that you said earlier?
The intramural sports.
Yes. So that's another big thing in America. Like university sports is a big thing.
Yeah.
And football, talking about football.
Yeah.
So, what is it like? Okay, tell us like how big it is. I mean, I've heard of it, and I've seen videos, people talking about like how they like certain things, but we would like to hear from the American themselves, the students. What is it like?
So again, our school is a little bit smaller, so it looks a little bit different than the public universities. But at the public universities in South Carolina, like college football is a really, really big deal.
Okay.
The stadiums are huge. Like in the Southeast, the stadiums can hold up to 100,000 people.
Whoa.
And like the fans come every single week, and they treat it almost as a religion. Like they have their own fight song. They wear the specific colors. Like they sit out in the parking lot, and we call it tailgating.
Tailgating.
So they sit out in the parking lot, and it's like a big party with 100,000 people. So it's a really, really big deal in the States.
So, obviously, those who play are from the universities. But talking about supporters, usually, the fans, are they usually just students or everybody? For the college sports, especially football.
Most of the stadiums, they have a student section, so it's like a section reserved just for the students, and it's normally like a quarter of the stadium.
Okay.
But then the majority of the fans are people who graduated from that university like a long time ago. Who keep coming back every single week. But then like for me, like I don't really have any connections to the University of South Carolina, but like I have my hat on, so like I'm still a big supporter. So there's always a big fan base for all of the public universities.
So do you occasionally watch the game? And,
every game.
Every game. Oh, okay. Not occasionally, yeah. Every game.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Mandy? Are you also a fan?
Yeah, I am more about like a fan by association. My parents pull for the University of Georgia, so the Bulldogs there. So I will pull for them till the day I die.
Okay.
But I'm not religious about it, and so it's like, oh, the Bulldogs won, great. Oh, they lost. Cool.
Try again next year.
Yes, yeah. I don't sit down and watch. I love going. We have tailgate parties, like watching. So if you're not at the game, a lot of times your friends and family will come together. I love going there because there's really good food. And so you can sit there and you can barbecue. Yes, and socialize. And like that's typically like all of the guys are usually like sitting on the TV, like pulling for the game, cheering on, and all of the women are like in the kitchen joking and laughing about how much their guys like enjoy the game.
Sounds like a party.
Yes,
sounds like a
kind of party for sure.
All right. So here in Indonesia, I think for college sports or university, the sport that's pretty big here is actually basketball. We have like leagues, like just between campuses. But what you have like football for us more the like basketball. So they have like a big league for that, and usually it's just in big cities. So I mean, where I live is not like one of the biggest, so we don't have a lot of that too. But it's not as big as in the US. Yeah, that's kind of the difference. All right. Well, besides that, I've always some of my friends ask me this, like from America. Yeah. So one, I think the major, maybe like not huge, but quite major difference between colleges here in America or in the US is about how we dress to go to class. Yeah. So you personally, tell us just like how do you usually, when you go to class, how do you usually assemble? I'm just kidding. So tell us.
Well, it kind of depends on the person.
Okay.
A lot of people go by the motto of like dress to impress, or if you're taking a test, it's like dress well, test well. It's like a little like colloquial.
I gotta remember that.
I don't live by that motto.
Okay.
I will typically wear like a shirt like this and pants. Like I would rather, because classes are really long, so I'd rather sit in a class and be comfortable and be able to pay attention than worry about like, is my shirt positioned right, are my pants too tight, like all these different things. So I'm like, I will wear like leggings and a t-shirt and tennis shoes to class, and typically I leave classes and I go to work, or I go from work to all these different things. So it's like I could dress really nice, or I could also just like dress really down and like have more fun. All
right.
Yeah.
What about you, Jake?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. I dress pretty casually on campus. Like what I'm wearing today is pretty typical of what I would wear any day, whether I'm at school or wherever I'm at. I mean, some days I would wear like sweatpants or gym shorts, especially if I'm going to like play sports afterwards. So most people on our campus dress pretty casually. Yeah.
So is there certain or some sort of like rules for like how you, is that like maybe I mean, obviously you gotta come like, you know, polite and not, you know, looking that you're about to go to sleep. I mean, obviously not that, but is there some sort of like rules that says, okay, you cannot wear this, you cannot wear this? Yeah. Is there any rules like that?
So it kind of depends on the university. So a more public university doesn't really, as far as I know, have a dress code or anything like that. But our university is more like, dress modestly, don't like be super revealing in anything for like women to wear. I don't know about guys, but guys don't usually have a problem with that. And so it's pretty much just like don't dress immodestly or something that will draw unnecessary attention to yourself. I don't know if Jake has anything to say about it.
What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, at public universities, there's normally nothing. At our university, we have a few rules that some people consider it like too strict, but I don't think they're really that strict. Like for guys, I think the only rule is like we can't wear tank tops unless we're like working out. So it's a little bit more strict on the girls. So I've never had any like problems with dress code, but it just depends on the school.
That's different. Like here in Indonesia, again, I'm speaking like representing where I live, especially like colleges, classes, universities classes still considered like a formal occasion. Yeah, so most classes actually still require you to wear like at least polo shirt, so it still have color, you know, and they, you know, encourage you to wear like a button-down shirt for guys, and for ladies, they wear like, you know, blouse and modest, obviously. But yeah, I mean, even some big private university here, they won't even let their students come to the campus area if they're wearing like a t-shirt. Yeah, that's not like, if you go to, maybe if you hang out in front of the university or in the park, they will not, you know, tell you to go. But if you actually get in the office or class, they will say, no, you need to change. So some of my friends sometimes just bring a jacket in their bag, so they just put it on when they need to go to the office, and then when they finish, they just take it off. So I mean, obviously we're Islamic country, so you know, many Muslim here, and usually they have to, you know, for the ladies they have to cover every, you know, to certain rules. So that's kind of I think also to balance. I mean, you don't want to like see the very difference between Muslim or non-Muslim. So actually in my faculty, you were not allowed to wear jeans. So Gary's laughing because we're from different faculty, like college. I was from the teaching, so they just kind of give us the idea to get ready to be a teacher, and that's another like really formal context job. So we have to wear, even if we wear like pants, gotta be like slacks for guys, and trousers, if I use the British term, and or skirt, you're asked to do that. And some other faculty in our university, in university I used to go to, actually are okay with jeans as long as you wear like button-down shirt or blouse on it.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah. You do have to like pay more attention. A lot of your professors will end up being the people that like recommend you to different jobs. So if you show up to class every day like looking like a slob and you're in your PJs, then like the recommendation might be less than if you were like mentally kind of put together in class.
Okay.
So it does just kind of range. I'm in the education department, and so throughout the week I have a lot of like presentations. So I will either go to my early morning class and not looking super put together, and then I'll go back to my room and I'll change.
Since you actually live near the campus, that's
so
right.
I live on campus, so it's literally a 2-minute walk back to my home.
Oh, wow.
So it's not like a stressful event. There's always opportunity to like, okay, I'm not comfortable in this outfit, I'll go back and change and then wear something else. So yeah, it does just kind of range through it. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I didn't really prepare this, but what you had to say actually make me think. So you mentioned that your professors often like recommend you to like a job or something. Does that happen like a lot, or is that a common thing to happen on campus?
Our university focuses a lot on professor-student relationships. We have smaller class sizes, so that will be like really important and really key in a lot.
Okay.
And so that does happen more typical at our university rather than a big public one.
Okay, that makes sense.
And my idea of all of this is it's harder for a professor to fail you if they love you. So I make a super special effort to be like, hey, I'm really struggling, help me. Not everyone does that, but I've found success in it. So
interesting. I guess it just reminds me a little bit, it doesn't happen very often here. And some of my friends, they like, they're close with the professors just because they help them a lot, carrying stuff and help them get, the LCD projector and get things ready. And they usually, not usually, but they often got offered, would you like? But yeah, I wonder if it's something that is common. Interesting. All right. Well, you have heard from our friends and about college life today. And I just would like to point out that what we had shared today is a lot about our experience. It could be different. Yeah, even our friends from Indonesia, what I had shared, and if you think, oh, that's not the case at my university, yeah, and that's okay. All right, and maybe some of our friends that live in America and heard what Jake and Mandy said, and then it's not the same way. That's okay. You could let us know in the comments. Don't forget, we would appreciate that. We want to learn. Yeah, it's always good to hear different experience and different situation for us to know better. So thank you very much for watching. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. This is the template that I have to do. I'm just kidding. we want you to enjoy our podcast. Yeah, so do subscribe and click that little bell. Yeah, and like this video and let us know if you thinking about ideas about topic we would like you to talk about, you would like us to talk about. Don't forget to comment. All right, well, thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's been fun. And I hope in the future we'll have our opportunity to do podcast again.
Yes, for
All
sure.
right. Okay, so see you next time in the episode of Connect with Us, and we'll connect you to the world.
Connect with us, and we'll connect you to the world.